Gentlemen, and welcome to the Roselle Community Recreation Commission meeting for Thursday, March 9th. We will call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. I would like to have the three young guys out here, if you would come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I asked before if you would do that.
What a great idea.
All right. If you want to come right up here, and you're all going to be on camera, and the flag's over there. Come on, buddy. There's one more back there. I saw three of you.
Do you have a microphone? Or?
All right. There's a microphone right
it's like
here. And the
American
camera's
Idol.
on ya.
You guys know the Pledge of Allegiance? I'll stand with you.
I'm going to get you up here. Ready? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yay!
Oh my goodness.
And you're going to go back home and watch that on camera. All right.
Go for a ride.
I'm here, Uta. We're missing Kevin Naso, and we're missing Keith Buzinski. Kearney, Nicely, Batts, Demon, and O'Farrell are all here. Bates, sorry. Okay, any additions or deletions to the agenda? Otherwise, I need an approval. A motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. The minutes from February 2nd, 2023, I would need a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Second, any discussion about the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks. All right, we got a presentation with Jaira tonight. Somebody want to come up here and introduce yourself? Tell us your address. I know who you are, but
Good evening.
Commissioners, you might want to
Patrick
turn off your microphones.
Patrick McGrath, 17548 Meridian. I'm here representing the JIRA organization, Groseal Youth Recreation Association. Tonight we want to talk about a few things, but before we get started, there's a lot of new leadership in our organization, and I want to introduce some of them to you now. So Shelley Wallace is the new executive director, succeeding me as the executive director. Todd Graham is our baseball and softball president. Todd's here. Phil LaBelle is our president of football and cheer. Carrie Zajas, director of cheer, is here as well. In fact, is any other officers here that you're aware of you want to introduce?
Casey's our baseball director. Casey Steffen, director of baseball.
Yep. So many new people, I don't know them all. Okay, thank you. Well, we want to talk about our fields, our baseball fields again. It's been quite a while since we've been here. A couple, 3 years maybe, 2 years?
3 years as of January 2020.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of things have happened since then. Most significantly, in November, most of you are aware that the Groseal Township schools successfully passed 2 of their millages for a very significant overhaul of the infrastructure of all of the schools, frankly. And as part of that plan, we met with Superintendent Orr about a week or 2 ago. And I might want to stop just for a moment and say that we are very grateful and thankful to all of the people at the school system here on the island. They are our biggest supporters in a lot of different ways, but most significantly, all of the facilities that we use for our sports, they provide to us. So that's a big partner for us, and we're really happy about all of the changes that they're looking forward to. So the good news is that they're going to revamp all of the fields, the football field, all of the baseball, softball fields. So that's going to be a welcome upgrade to all of our sports. So the not so good news is that as part of the expansion of Park Lane, so most of you might know that the plan is to move all of the elementary to Park Lane, and they're going to expand it significantly. In doing so, it'll take out 2 of our most used baseball fields. So that's the downside. The good news for them is eventually at the end of their development, they said that they would replace those fields for us, but it's going to be multiple years. So we're kind of in this situation where we were already, struggling for fields, but now we're going to take two of the most used fields that we have in the fleet, if you will, and try to do without those for a few seasons. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Todd to come up and talk a little bit more about what the impact specifically is to the baseball program and softball program.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight on this important, critical topic. As Patrick mentioned, my name is Ty Graham. I am the current. Sorry?
Move that slide around.
Okay.
I think there's two more, right?
Yeah, I think so. One more.
This is the email I sent you all.
Yeah. So here's one of the fields that's used the most that Patrick was talking about. So yeah, my name's Ty Graham. I'm the current president of Gyro Baseball and Softball. This is actually my second year serving on the board. It's my first year serving as president. We actually have a great group of people. We have 12 people that have stepped up on the board this year. It's mostly moms and dads, that just want to, volunteer their time, provide the best baseball, softball experience for not only their own kids, but everybody on the island. As Patrick mentioned, the passing of the bond proposals has a tremendous impact on the schools, the middle school, the high school fields, as well as many other things. However, the park lane expansion definitely puts our program in serious risk. So in saying that, we have an immediate need for fields to support our youngest athletes. Looking at the slide here, Park Lane 1, Park Lane 2, and the Meridian fields, those are utilized by our T-ball, 8U baseball, 10U baseball programs for both practices and games. Our registration is still currently open for the 2023 season, but looking at past years, for those three programs, we typically have about 175 to 200 players, 14 to 20 teams, which really comprises about 60% or more of our entire baseball, softball organization. So, Park Lane 1, Park Lane 2 being eliminated for these two seasons, but definitely puts us in a big predicament. For the Meridian field, that field is really only suitable for T-ball. There is some, playscape playground equipment out in left field. For T-ballers, not a big deal, but the older kids definitely has an impact. And then the other piece of this too, using just Meridian even to try to support T-ball is going to be tough. Last year we had 8 teams. To have 8 teams use one field for practices and games is just not really, something that would work. And then additionally, no one knows at this point in time what's going to happen to the Meridian facilities. Oops, sorry, my thing closed. For us, the field usage or the field need, obviously, for the 2024-2025 seasons is very important, but it even goes, beyond that. Our field usage now is maxed out. We play a lot of doubleheaders with our T-ball games. We have a lot of early, late practices just to be able to get everybody in. So really, we need to find some alternative, not only for these two seasons, but also into the future. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. It was very nice to meet you all, and I hope we can work together to, come up with some sort of solution for this. All right.
Thanks, Todd.
Yep, thank you.
So, back, I just went backwards, unfortunately. Okay. Last time I was here, you approved our lot, if you will, our land for usage. And then we presented to you in May of 2020 our design, which you can see up here on the slide, which houses 2 fields, a large field capable of supporting adult softball, which is important for revenue generating, and then the regulation size softball field that could support up to high school level softball. And then everything in between and underneath that. One of the challenges that we have really at the moment, where we're stuck, is Kim drafted a user agreement that we used. Have been using it for many years at the football field, but it was updated to reflect the usage of the baseball fields. And we had a couple of things that we needed resolved with the update, which 3 out of the 4 were. They were pretty minimal. The 4th one, however, ended up being a very big problem. So from the get-go, as everybody knows, the GYRO organization, the community, is funding 100% of the build of these fields. That's everything. I mean, it's very expensive. And our plan to do that was to offer sponsorships, get businesses, maybe even a significant contribution to name a field after them if somebody was willing to do something like that. But when we got the agreement, it said very clearly that all signs and advertising displayed in and about the baseball, softball fields shall be only such as necessary to advertise our business, and basically nothing else. So that was something that I asked to meet with the different folks at the time to talk through that and see what could be done. There was a meeting that I wasn't at where you all, as a group, discussed these issues. And I think Mr. Sorty was here as well. And one of the things that, you had questions about that, like, well, they can't sell advertising to anybody, and if it's not appropriate signage, what would we do? And why would GYRO get the revenue for advertising signs on township property? Sorry about that. So I went back here recently when this new development about the Park Lane fields came up, trying to figure out how to resolve this. And I did some research. And my ask to Kim and to the township at the time was to rewrite the agreement so that it gives us explicit rights, instead of no, you can't, say yes, we can, because we need that to fundraise. We can't go out and just ask for money from corporations or from businesses and then not give them anything in return. And so that was a premise 5 years ago when we started this project. So this was kind of a curveball to us in the summer of 2000. So I did a little more research, and I remember hearing on the meeting that was, I think it was in July or August in 2020, where Mr. Sorty and the rest of the board were discussing this issue. And they said that, well, it's in the township charter. I mean, it's right here, Chapter 184, Parks and Recreation Areas. And I've circled this area here. It says, further, no person shall expose, distribute, or place any sign, advertisement, circular, notice, or statement, or display any banner, emblem, or design within the park. However, it does say, without a specific permit from the township board. So it doesn't say you can't do it, it just says you need approval to do it. And that's what I'm asking for. We're asking for approval to put signs into the mix of the baseball field so that we can build them. I have, so very frank, a request to get that done. I'm not sure who makes that decision, but whoever that person is or board is, we'd like to talk to them pretty quickly and make our case to that. And then we need to start building. I mean, we talked about, we have 1 season to make a playable field for half of our kids. So that's my ask to this board, to help me, help the organization, help the citizens and the kids find a way to get construction started across the street.
Can I make a comment here?
Please.
First of all, Uta would be our township liaison
Yes,
for the board.
I'm aware.
Obviously, our township manager sitting in the back of the room. I don't know if we have to rewrite ordinances. Personally, I don't have a problem with advertising from your businesses. I remember we had discussed this about what if somebody comes with a dispensary and they want to give you
Right.
$500,000.
Right.
What is that? Or anything like that. I don't have a problem with anything. The naming of the field, we had gone through an issue when they tried to name that ice rink after a certain student, and I'm not going to go into details. I don't know why you just don't call it the Red Devils field or something. or
Well, if somebody
Groseville
wants to
baseball.
give us $100,000,
Name the field
we
after
would
them.
put their name on it.
to build the field. Yeah.
Right.
But as far as banners and stuff, I mean, don't all the other communities, you drive down West Road
Everybody
and that
does.
thing's loaded with banners and stuff. So,
I just want to let the group know that these user agreements are very outdated.
Yes.
And they are in the hands of our new attorney as we speak.
Okay.
So I'm handling a couple lease agreements and this is part of the transition with the new attorney. So she does have those. And
Okay.
I'm meeting with her in the next couple of weeks to go through those as we have just transitioned into, a new attorney reviewing a lot of things for the township, not just rec, but I know a lot of things with the township. So I just wanted to make that clear to the commission. Those have been forwarded to her actually about 3 weeks ago. Because it's pretty old.
Yeah.
And there's time for change, and I believe in that. I know a couple of the board members believe in that as well. So, we'll have that discussion after I hear from the attorney, and that's, hopefully we can make some
May I ask
changes.
in the meanwhile, and thank you for doing that,
Yep.
can we start working with, I suppose, the township manager on preliminary logistics on how we are going to go about building the field? You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
we got to
you
hire
can-
contractors, and I'm sure everything needs to be,
I think you're going to find that unfortunately, because this is government and local government, and it involves the airport commerce, and
but it doesn't
recreation.
involve airport commerce. It's not
It
on your land.
involves a lot of different groups
Right.
coming to the table. It might take a little longer than you like. I just want to prepare you, because I remember we had a former trustees who always said, was frustrated that the wheels of government worked so slowly, but it's to make sure that all the different elements involved get their say, get their moment to raise their issues.
We understand
Derek is here actually just to listen today, but
Okay.
I think that he would be a good point of contact along with Kim to discuss how to start the process going
Okay.
before you put any shovels
Sure.
or anything into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, the sign issue for us is all about, and Shelley's going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute here, about getting fundraising going, right? Because we have money, but we need more money. But just the planning of how we would interact with the township as if we were going to build the field, we need a partner inside the township to work through with all of that.
Well,
So,
and the signage issue really comes down to, again, more often than not, size and, scope. But also, I mean, we can't dictate speech per se, but I think the township and the community will have an interest in some level of the content that, it
Well,
wants to
indeed, in
make sure
fact,
is appropriate.
It's my
So-
suggestion that you would, the township would have approval of all of our signs.
Well, and
So-
that will work its way through with our township attorney. As she goes through these user agreements, we'll get a much better idea of what we can and cannot do. Because we also don't want to be so draconian that, no sign at all will work. As Chad pointed out, you see signs in other communities attached to fences and so forth. But every community has its own standards, has its own ideas of what it wants to represent. So I just want to say to you on behalf of the Township Board and the Community Rec and our administration that we will be very happy to work with you to iron out these problems and try our best not to be a slowdown to your process.
Sure, I appreciate that. If I could, Shelley, would you like to take over here?
Well, before I knew that you were going to say all that, so we'll just start from the beginning. Good evening. My name is Shelley Wallace, and I am the new executive director for JIRA. I've been a Groseville resident for about 8 years. And a few years back, I'd say my daughter was about 5 years old, she asked me if she could play baseball for Groseville. And at the time, I knew nothing about JIRA. I knew nothing about how the township worked. I had lived in prior locations locally. So I went to sign her up on the rec department's website. Come to find out, that doesn't exist in that sense. So a friend told me how to do it. I went about, we got her all situated. She signed up, she loved it, she still plays. And the reason why I say that is because I think so many people here on Groseville don't know that JIRA is separate from the rec department. It's two totally separate organizations. And after joining JIRA and participating, it didn't take me long to realize what a remarkable program this is. I mean, if you think about it, It's an organization run solely by volunteers. Most of them are parents, a few grandparents. Some of them don't even have kids in school. They've graduated. These volunteers devote their time and their effort to making sure that the kids in the community have sports to participate in. And my daughter reminded me tonight, and to have fun. She said, don't forget that. And I'm not talking about a few hours here and there. I'm talking about endless, countless hours of planning and executing, planning for ways to make money to pay for things. This isn't just for things like equipment and new uniforms. This is for the non-glamorous things, like painting the clubhouse. We just did a huge improvements on the clubhouse. We got a new sign, we painted it, we did landscaping over there by volunteers. It's paying for the lawn service to cut the grass. It's paying for the water bill to water it so that the turf that the boys play on doesn't feel like straw. It is renovating the dugouts at the elementary school for baseball. All of this, it's renting porta potties, not just for the parents to come when they watch it, but for the kids to use when they're practicing. And of course, you know, while we're here today, it's for the little tiny things like, you know, building a new baseball diamond. So these volunteers, they dedicate so much to this program, not just to make great things for the community, but their sole purpose is to make this great for the kids of Grosse-Ile. There's no ego involved, there's no financial gain, there's no pretense, and there's no agenda. The main purpose is to make these programs great for kids. That's it. Where else can you find something like that? This program, it's an asset to our community. So we, of course, approach you tonight and ask that you help us make that better. We want to build the diamonds. We want to help these kids in our community, your community, and we know that this is a huge undertaking. Yes, our community needs them. Allow us to seek these sponsorships. Selling signs to sponsors is a much more effective way for us to generate money needed for the fields versus a logo on a website or on a Facebook post. By doing this tactfully, we will do this tactfully, display appropriate businesses, names on the banners, signs, plaques. They'll be suitable sponsorships from businesses and members of our community. They will be aesthetically pleasing, not an eyesore, I promise that. This will allow us to generate the funds that are needed for these fields and the success of our program. What do we have there?
I just want to interrupt real quick.
Sure.
No, you go ahead and finish.
Perfect. There are countless studies of the benefits of kids participating in youth sports. Everything, of course, from the health to staying out of trouble. And what makes the most sense here on Grosse-Ile is providing a place for the community to connect. That's huge here. That's the reason why so many people want to live here. That's part of the reason why I moved here. And I'm willing to believe that it's a part of the reason why you're here tonight and why you volunteer on this commission is for the community. I think that we can all attest to everyone in this room what we all want, and that is the best for Grosse-Ile. I know how much effort and time you all put into being on this commission and for the events that you host in this community. We all have the same desire to make this a great place to live. It's my goal as the new director to unite all of the gyro sports, to put funds back into the fields, and to enhance the facilities that we graciously currently use. Also, to build our relationship between gyro and the Rec Commission, and to grow these programs together. We thank you for the support you've given us in the past. There we go. We appreciate you allowing us to use the football field. We appreciate you allowing us to have access to the clubhouse. But our baseball team, our baseball program desperately needs to build these baseball diamonds in order for gyro baseball and softball to continue. Not just to be successful, but to continue. To eliminate these fields for 2 years at the elementary school and to have 2 less fields would be detrimental to our program. And this continues on. The longevity of this is past gyro. It's to the middle school and to the high school, because our program feeds into those. The impact would far extend the past 2 seasons that we will be losing. we need your support for the signs and the approval. In the past year, we've continued to also grow our fundraising. We've had events and positive impacts on the island, events ranging from euchre tournaments, dunk tanks, pancake breakfast, spaghetti dinners. We're diligently working to raise funds to improve the Gyra experience. Perhaps now it's also our turn as a nonprofit organization to maybe get a hand in or work the beer tent during Island Fest. That would be a huge financial assist to our program. Not only that, but this Commerce Airport Park would be amazing for everyone of Grosse Ile. Funds and proceeds should be allocated to the development of an actual parking lot, restrooms, concession area. It would be a great overall experience and place for the community to go. Gyra families represent a huge portion of this community, and the main beneficiaries of our program are the youth in this community. Thank you so much for your time. We hope you consider our request and hope to make Gyra more successful and to help make our community shine.
Shelley, I have some forms I'm going to hand you,
Yeah,
and you can start on your pancake breakfast ASAP.
yes,
I didn't know who to reach out to.
that
with
would be
Gyra.
me.
That would be you. Did I talk to you last year?
Yes, you did.
I have
Yes, you
all.
did.
You got all the forms for her?
Mr. Chair, with
Uta,
your
you're
permission.
up.
Yeah,
Yep.
so very lovely speech.
Yes.
The English teacher and me, like, wow, well done.
Well, thank you.
And I agree with everything you say. Let me just put that flat out there, but I have to be bad mom
Okay,
on some level because the wall that we run up against is we are a general law township. We're not a city. We're not a charter township. So we don't have a tax base to fund a recreation department per se. And that's one of the reasons Gyra exists, is because traditionally Grosse Ile did not have a recreation department that was outside of the schools, for instance, for sports and things. So the citizens got together and they formed this group, and Giza as well, right? Our recreation millage that is voted by the public and gets renewed by the skin of our teeth every time it goes around really funds our rec director and a very small staff. We count on some cell tower revenues and the rents and rental agreements that we have with tenants, for instance, at the farm. When we go over our budget later on, you'll see there's no money there that we could even give you if we wanted to, for building fields, for building structures, restrooms, etc. All of that we've gotten so far and that we hope to gain in the future is through the diligent grant writing and proposal writing of our rec directors in the past and present, to pull together those funds to keep those things going. So while we would love to just say, oh, we need parking lot, we need sled hill, we need this, we need that. Of course, we all know we do, but the township itself doesn't have the funding available or the mechanism available to do that. So your ask is not unreasonable to say, if you have a way of raising the funds through sponsorships and events and all those things, that's how every other organization on the island basically has to do it. My kids were rowers, so we pumped all our resources, our time and energy into the rowing fundraisers and events, the bottle drives, et cetera. And I think Grosse Ile parents kind of know that that's part of the routine if you're going to get your kids involved in the sports. Because until this millage passed for the school, the funds were not available to even expand the school's fields.
And I think that we are fully prepared to financially, and we're not asking for funds.
I was just trying to give a context
Yes.
for what we are able and not able to do. I think every person on this panel understands what you're saying, where you're coming from, and what the need is. And one of the reasons we're here is that we try to be the problem solvers to make those different things happen. And all the wonderful things that you've seen happen so far are really the result of all these different groups working together to make something happen.
And that's what
So,
we want to partner
yeah.
with and do.
Yeah.
We
So
want to join
we
forces
pledged-
together.
I guess we can pledge to you, that we will be your partner in these attempts. It's good that you've come here to tell us what you need, why you need it. You can use us as a platform as well to come to our meetings and explain to the public what you're doing, even not even
Right.
asking, but come to this event or that event. The festival beer tent, that's a whole different.
I'm going to comment on that, Uto.
Okay.
That's
when
for,
you get
that's
a
for
minute.
someone else. But I just wanted to say, we want to be on your team with this, but we have certain things that we can and some things that we can't.
Totally understand.
And finally, be prepared with the signage discussion, the concept of appropriate business. We can't, once we decide to do sponsorship, and Derek and Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, we can't exclude a business that wants to sponsor because we don't think they're appropriate. That would be an infraction of freedom of speech, and so that is not something we can do. So just understand that once we allow sponsors' names on signs, it's going to be any business that wants to be your sponsor is going to be able to be on your signs. We're not worried about appropriateness in
Yeah.
that sense. We can't be.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to say, is that we got to always be careful as a government entity that it doesn't look like we are prohibiting.
But would that be then the government end, but as GIRA, that would be different for us, I would believe, correct?
Well, I would find it hard to believe that you would say no to a sponsor, but that I can't get into.
Well, and I think that our organization caters to kids, so it's our kids on the field. And if we don't feel, we vote on everything as a board, and we would have discretion in that.
But that might be something also we bring up
Yeah.
with our attorney.
Yeah.
And
That's
say,
in the question.
That's gonna be a-
I've gone, I've seen the signs, I know exactly where you guys are coming from.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
and I love the idea of we thank our sponsors and then
Yeah.
you put their names on them. Again, my issue is what can we can't, if we have everybody on board, we can't say, well, but you can't be. That's at least my understanding. When we tried to connect businesses to our township website, there was a big debate because some people didn't want us to link to certain businesses.
Oh, my gosh.
But if we're, right?
I'm just saying.
You open a can of worms with that. So the bottom line was you either accept it all
Yeah.
or you do nothing. So I'm just preparing
Yeah.
for one of the reasons why we're so careful.
No, I totally understand that.
And we're not like a private business
Right.
that can do what it wants. We are a public entity that has to represent the broader interests of the community.
Sure.
So that's my piece.
I want to say something really quick. I've lived here almost 50 years. I went to high school here and stuff too, a long time. But as far as fundraising, Island Fest, all the money to throw that event comes from sponsors and donors and hanging up banners and stuff like that. We get zero funding from the township. A few years ago, they cut that all off, and I think a lot of the public doesn't know that. They think we have carte blanche to throw this great community event. And it's not just recreation, it's all of us that are doing this. And I bust my butt trying to get anything from $5 to $5,000. So I know all about your banners. I have neighbors that own some questionable businesses that many of you might have been there, but I'm not going to say it on camera, but how do you get, I mean, they're going to come and offer you 10,000 for a banner. I don't have a problem with it, but I could see where there's going to be a group of them going to come down with their torches and how
Sure.
dare you in our community and da-da-da-da. And but, so I guess the fundraising thing, I totally get that. And I hope that by getting names on banners isn't what's going to hold this project up. Can we drop a mic or what?
I want to say something too.
All right, the commission would like to say some things
Want me to
too.
say something first?
I have
Our manager wants to.
I have a question, and I'm just hearing about the Park Lane expansion. Was that, where did you get that information? Was it, you did sit with,
It's in the millage.
Okay.
Staff and the architects and planners.
and that is definite?
Plus, they presented it at the last school board meeting.
They did,
Yeah.
and they presented it to us.
Sorry, I'm getting
That's
old.
okay. No, that was part of her presentation to us as well.
Yeah, so that was my question.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, she said it was 2
Oh,
years.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
2 years?
Yeah.
because of the numbers.
Said 24, 25, there's no fields.
Correct.
Well, and it might just come down to the reality, like we're closing a portion of Meridian to build a new bridge. You know, it's going to be inconvenient for 2 years, that we might have to,
Impossible.
you know, try to do, we're going to have to find
You'll lose all those
workarounds
kids.
and at the same time, you know, try to deal with it, but realize that these things come up and we'll, you know, hopefully we'll all be better for it afterwards. But, you know, you have a team to work with you.
That's great news.
Absolutely.
I mean, we are one small community. We are all here in this together, and I think that it only benefits all of us when we work on it together. And that's what I think all of us are here for on this lovely Thursday evening.
Right.
So I
All
just
lovely
want
Thursday
to,
evenings.
my next steps again is through the attorney. You know, that's going to be my next step. I will form a small committee with commissioners, as we've done with changing all of our older agreements that we've had. And I will definitely bring up those questions because those questions were brought up to me in some emails with some members of JIRA. So I did start moving on that because I know you got to build some fields, so.
Me too.
And then the only other question, you guys, you know, the rec commission did give that land to you guys. And the only thing I can't remember, and again, I'm human as well, was there a conflict with the diagram encroaching? I'm trying to,
It was resolved in the meeting.
that's what I thought, okay. So things will fit in those spaces out there, so I just wanted to bring that up. I remember some conflicts, and that was resolved. So the space is available, the land is there. I feel they're asking for us to look at these ordinances and try to get
Up with good verbiage for
some
our
good
user
verbiage
agreement,
to
yeah.
approve some signage and.
And Derek, does the
Yeah.
airport have to be a part of this, or the Commerce Park, or are there, in giving the field to the JIRA, does that take them out of the equation?
No, I think like was mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
the property that's in question is rec department property.
Okay.
It is rec land, where soccer and the
base.
field over there, that is rec land. And that was approved, I don't remember when
In
we,
January of 2020.
yeah, so the land is
Okay.
officially theirs. Nothing's changed since then.
Okay.
We've used it for overflow parking for Island Fest, that's about it. So,
I would suggest getting the planning commission involved if you're looking at modifying ordinances to permit
right,
what you're asking for.
correct.
Who's their liaison?
Kyle DeBose.
Oh, sweet.
Well, that's good for you to
Oh,
know as
sorry.
well.
Yeah.
And Kyle
Kyle
has,
was on
has
RAC.
two small
I was on
boys.
RAC, yeah, for a while.
And Kyle was on RAC, and so, like I said, it takes time because you're pulling a lot of different groups together.
Sure.
But I think you're going to find that also making obstacles known helps make it easier to get over them. You know,
Yeah,
that
definitely.
you don't want to be surprised by something at the end.
Plan for the worst, hope for the best, right?
Exactly. Always plan for the worst and then do your best to overcome those things.
Derek, do your little ones play baseball yet? All right.
They're also in the
Middle
football
school.
program.
They're not middle
Well,
school.
and now that flag
Wyatt is
football's
like sixth
becoming
grade.
big, I'm just saying.
Yeah, the other one's.
Do you guys
4.
have any questions down here, commission? Any commission, or any, we're missing two of our commissioners, Kevin and Keith, but they're aware of this. Anybody out there have something they want to comment on?
Stacy does.
I just want to make one quick statement, just because I'm new to Roseville. I moved here 2 years ago from a city that had a very large school district.
We need your name and address for the record.
Tara Canatella, 18470 Parkley.
Thank you.
So I came from a very large community 2 years ago now, and we moved here because we had so many friends here. My older son joined the gyro football program, and we really loved it, loved living here. One of the things that I think is become abundantly clear is that, Groseal in general is lacking in facilities. And I'm so glad the bond passed so we can increase that, because we need to draw more people here. And my concern with the baseball field and having a 2-year hiatus on a field is what I fear is going to happen, and what I'm hearing is kids from Groseal are going to leave the island to go play sports. And once you start leaving the island to go play sports, it's hard to bring them back, which means it's the start of the fail of the youth rec program. And when that fails, your middle school fails, your high school fails, and people are drawn to facilities. They're drawn to the schools, not only education, but athletics. And if you don't have people wanting to move here for those things, the entire city starts to collapse.
It's not a city, remember, or
Township. The entire community starts to collapse.
But the
Yeah.
thing that people often forget, we don't have sidewalks because we're not a city. We don't have lights because we're not a city. We are a general law township. And so when you come from places like Canton or Plymouth
I came
or
from a
Bloomfield,
township.
and there's
Oh,
big townships.
We have sidewalks and lights. You just have to amend the laws to allow people to vote on
You
it.
have to have people vote to pay for them. And that has always been the kicker here. You have to pass a millage to pay for something. And it's darn hard. The schools, you have no idea how lucky everyone at the schools felt when that bond millage passed. That was not a given. That was not a given. And we don't have a public library on the island because voters did not approve a millage to build a library. So everything here runs on the whole millage cycle. We didn't have road improvements because the millage didn't pass. There's no government money coming to the township for these programs. We have, as a general law, we are like the most basic form of government in the state. We have to scrabble for what our citizens want. At the same time, you have local control, and you can decide, do we want this or do we not want that? But if you can't pass a millage, you can't build it. It's as simple as that. I just have to be very blunt with you. We all want these things, but we can't always pass the millage.
Right, and I appreciate that, and I understand, and I think maybe what the goal of the whole organization is to get it out in people's minds that this is a great rec department. We want to do great things for our kids so that the residents of Groseal know this is what's going on. Because when I moved here, I didn't know what the rec department was. I didn't know anything about gyra. I didn't know about the millages. So I think just getting it out in the open and getting community support is going to help drive up the voter response to millages. And so I think that's kind of why we're all trying to join together and get it done and keep kids here.
Good, because ours is up in August.
If we don't pass
Thank
the
you, Tara.
millage in August, we don't have a rec department, as small as it is. If the renewal does not pass in August, there's no rec department. Just putting it out there.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions?
I support you guys 100%. Always have, always will. I will do everything I can to escalate things. I'm glad the group came tonight. I've emailed and talked to all of you, and I will do everything I can to support. I have a senior now, but you guys all know my kid played every sport, I think, at the high school, and she does play travel softball. So I just wanted to put
We
my
need you
2
to
cents
stay
in.
passionate. Don't get tired. It's a long slog, especially if your kids are little, because you got 10 years ahead of you. But stay with it, just like we have. I mean, I'm still a rowing parent. My kids have been out of school for my youngest graduated 4 years ago. You just keep going. You know, that we have to be Energizer bunnies for the programs that we love and the facilities that we want, et cetera. So just don't lose faith, don't lose hope, and we'll all keep working together to make it happen. But we have to be realistic about why things happen or don't happen, and then conquer those.
Stacy has a comment she wants to make here.
I just wanted to say that I completely support what you're doing, and that I know that I was in PAT with Wendy, and we've run a lot of things over at the schools. Getting sponsorships, you're going to get the people that you solicit. So I'm in full. I feel like what you're going to do is going to work, and I know that just working with our attorney, we can make this happen. I thank you guys for coming in and bringing this to our attention, because without someone constantly telling us, we will let it go to the wayside. So stay on us, and hopefully we can get it resolved quickly so that you can move forward.
Mike.
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going with that.
Can you come to the mic so the people at home can hear you?
Yeah, there's the Mike Cornell and I. He's the chairman of the Field Development Authority for JIRA. We've been on this now for, I don't know if I'm going to say 5 or 6 years, but it's been a long, 3 different rec directors. There's only 2 of you on the commission that were there at the beginning. So we are persistent. You know, we kind of ran into a brick wall a year or 2 ago with just basically, you know, nowhere to go. So we're back, and hopefully we'll make it through this time and get things moving. But I do appreciate the time, and we'll be talking soon, I hope. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Oh, one more. Can we have the beer tent?
Like I said, we have to raise money so we can pay $4,000 for porta potties, 10 grand for tents and
Oh, so you're not
tables,
having
and
sponsors like you did in the past?
we are trying to get a sponsor to put up banners, but that's staying in the rec department. We pulled the liquor license, we fund everything, so there's nobody doing that except the rec, but thanks for your encouragement.
Okay, thank you.
But you can get your dunk tank and the pancake breakfast, right? You get some of those police and township officials in that dunk tank, you could make a fortune. Oh, is my mic live?
Everybody wants to dunk us.
You'll see me running around everywhere.
It'll cool you off.
Oh, thank you. Are we good? Can we move on? Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. You
Thank
have
you.
us 110%, so, you know, you don't have to stay here if you don't want to, because it's the most we've had in this room.
We have an audience.
I know. Public comment, limited to 3 minutes. Any topic. Mr. I know who you are, but you want to tell us who you are and your address?
My name is Kevin Flavin. I live on Park Lane, Brazil, and I'm here, and Uta kind of took us right into the, what I would like to speak about tonight. First of all, thank you very much to Ms. O'Farrell for passing out the budgets and a couple, I guess, legal documents about some of the properties that
It was an operating agreement.
Operating
Yeah, that's on the
agreement, okay.
agenda for tonight.
What I was wondering is, we know that our budget for 23-24 is very tight, and we were, I guess the township was fortunate that there was high inflation this year, so it looks like that may work itself out. But what I was wondering is, the budgets, your budget in particular, and I'm hoping that all commissions, committees, as part of the Groseal Township or Groseal Taxpayers Association, what we would like to see is the budget, your budget online, and narrative about the budget, what you'll probably explain this evening. Some of that would be nice if that was included online with a written narrative. And under the agenda package, usually there isn't anything there with the agenda package. It would be nice to see the agenda, the meeting agenda item reports, to see that populated with those what's going on at the meeting so that people can understand where and how the money is being utilized in the recreation department. I know there are a lot of different programs that are put together, and it would be great to see how those are utilized by the community and the cost, those kind of things, so that we have a better understanding of how the budget and our tax dollars are being used, and so that programs that are not directly rec related, like JIRA, maybe there is a possibility of finding money out there to help maintain fields, and I think that's been done in the past. So any more information that can be put in out there on how rec works, how they spend their money, and how the community utilizes the programs would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Good. Anybody else? Comment? Public comment? If not, we're going to move on to action items. Action item number 1, vote and approve the community recreation and Centennial Farm budgets for the 2023-2024 term. Kim, well, I need a motion for this, please. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, open for comment, discussion.
Let's just clarify, the motion is to approve
Yes.
the proposed budget for community recreation and Centennial Farm,
Yes.
and then the second will count for that. I think to address what Mr. Flavin said is correct, but at the same time, until the budget is actually approved by the Township Board, it's not there's nothing official about it until that time. So,
Correct.
But we can certainly be here to answer questions, and you were at our Township meeting when we discussed the budget as well. We do want to make the public aware of what is in the budget, what's not in the budget. But really, until the board approves it, it's not an official budget. It's just a working document. And I think we can work on putting out drafts. I don't know what the limitations of that are. We can take that to our township manager for consideration. But and we haven't always had the online access that we do now, but in the past, we've always made the documents available to the residents. And trying to get it online is a logical next step. So I just wanted to put that out there. The Township Board did work with Kim. Kim worked with the board and a couple of other trustees and the manager to put this budget together. And she was praised and complimented by our township supervisor. It's a tight budget, but it accommodates and accounts for every little program that we've tried to squeeze in. And again, the tax money that goes into this is the millage funds. There is no, and correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, but there's no state allocated millage. There's no gas millage, no state allocated funds or gas taxes or anything like that that goes into this. It's strictly the millage dollars approved, the grant money, and the user fees that we generate. So given that, I think it's remarkable.
I assume that's why the Centennial Farm is worked into the recreation as in one action item.
Yes, the Centennial Farm,
Yes.
The unit.
it's a unit, but it's a separate, separate line item.
Separate account line for the farm.
Yeah.
But it's like festivals in a,
I picked up my
we are
book.
one unit when
Yep.
it comes to the budget, so. And again, this is a draft. So, and you all have, I've sent you copies, so you guys have had a couple weeks to read
Yeah.
through that. And we all know with budget planning, it's just a guide. It really, truly is a guide. I've been doing budgets for 28 years. But without the guide, it's no different from running your household. You have to have limits. You have to have all those things when you're operating $1.1 million. So that's just done. So, and again, until it is approved by the township board, and that I believe is on the 13th, if I'm not
The
mistaken.
13th of March, a Monday.
Yeah, Monday, the 13th. This recreation and Centennial Farm budget is what the board will be looking at. What I've sat with the board and went through every page by page and accountability and all the things that, our debt with the ice rink's been paid off. I'm working on paying off the debt at the marina, those types of things. So it's a lot of cost centers. We have more cost centers than any other department. We have a kind of a different structured budget than some of the other managers have to work with. So, but we have been fortunate to balance every year, and we have been fortunate to have carryover. We have been able to build a savings account in the event a pier collapse, whatever it may be. And we've all been through those experiences over the last couple years as I've brought big projects to you. I'm continuing to write grants. I am not having much success. First round of Sparks grant, we were denied. But, that's what I'll do. I'll continue to try to get those funds for our new playground, things that we need. I would love to build 2 new ball diamonds for this group of people. I would love to do that. But again, you're looking at $500,000 to $1 million.
And what I don't think a lot of the public doesn't understand is that when you said the ice rink, we just paid, what, $23,000?
$31,000
out of our last budget on something that was designed before any of us were part of this. Maybe Uta was.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it's
And
just.
it was promised to be paid for by
Yeah.
donations and
Right,
sponsorships, which didn't happen.
As
So-
you can, we're a little leery when we get groups coming in and wanting to, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it comes down that we're going to have to take care of it, if somebody bails on it.
And again, I know exactly where they're all coming from. I think we all do. We've all gone through the sports and all that type of thing. But again, when I started here and I learned about Gyra and Gisa myself, I was like, because I've always been the one running all the programs, bigger cities and that type of thing. I said, God, who are these? This is great, so it was a change for me too, coming from big cities to see these organizations, and I sometimes wonder how they do it as well, with all the volunteers and the fundraising.
And Kim, honestly, what your budget shows too, when Mr. Flavin and other people are going to be looking at this document, what the figures are, what something costs, how we accommodate that cost. I know you and your staff are split through all the different cost centers. The help we get from other departments is split and accounted for in these cost centers. So this is a valuable document in that respect. It shows how we manage to do all of these things. But again, I think it's that reality check that we are a small general law township and our funding is very much self-sustaining, right? That always kind of hits people. We all love to have great projects, but they all need to be paid for. And so we get really creative. And I can't even begin to tell Mr. Chair Chad what a great influence you've been on the festival, because there were things that we wanted to do with festival for years and never could, and in comes Mr. Fundraising, and over the past few years we have these fantastic fireworks. I had my kids and I we went to Canada for rowing every year during Island Fest, so I missed probably 12 Island Fest. But I swear to God, we could hear those fireworks in St. Catharines. People, maybe not the physical fireworks, but the aftershocks from people like, wow, Facebook, Instagram, all my, what was it, my book or whatever, MySpace,
yeah.
Way back in the day, would blow up and say what a great experience it was, and all our kids grew up with Island Fest, and the de facto class reunion is the beer tent at Island Fest, right? So, again, I think the more we let people know the constraints under which we're working and how well we push through those, I think that's going to be good for everybody.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission before we move on to this?
Because I'll shut up now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got me off the commission in the first
Oh.
I don't know if Mr. Nato heard that.
So we will do a roll call vote on this, all right? Marissa?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Yes for me. Wendy?
Yes.
Ethel?
Yeah.
Uta?
Yes.
All right, unanimous, motion carries. All right, the next one is to vote and approve the operating agreement for Centennial Farm that you've all been updated and know what's going on. And
Oh.
I need a motion for this,
I'll make the motion.
a second.
Second.
We will open for discussion. I would like to say something, just so the public and everybody knows this. We are just an advisory commission. The Recreation Commission is. We just recommend to the township board that has the final say-so on these leases and operating agreements. I've been told, don't pay attention to social media, don't listen to the gossip, don't listen to that. But just about every one of us have been in the public with my friends and stuff the other night, and the misinformation going out there is ridiculous. So please, don't beat us up about this. We are just an advisory commission. We just, we work with the township manager, the township attorneys. Kim is above and beyond what she needs to do with these agreements. So just remember that. The township board, Uta included, has the final say-so on these. Okay, that's my part of the discussion.
Well, I'm going to riff off of what you
All right.
just said because we were also speaking about the budget. And if you look at the Centennial Farm budget and also the big project we just completed there, nearly $200,000 on fencing, it has to explain why we are negotiating rent increases because we can't afford to maintain the farm at the level to which we've become accustomed at the current rates. It's just not feasible. And so this has been a long process. Our manager, Kim, our township manager, Derek, our township supervisor, Mr. Budney, myself, Stacy, Chad, the whole commission have been involved in this negotiation and hammered out what and our attorney as well, hammered out what we believe is a fair and equitable proposition. And bearing in mind that one of the reasons the rent increase is so important is because we want to be able to continue offering the service to the community, but it has to pay for itself. We have to be able to maintain the facility, and without rental money coming in, the cell tower revenues are not enough to keep that whole facility going. So that's my push.
I just want to make a comment on the Centennial Farm budget. If you guys, it's the smaller packet. I do want to denote one change. There was a change that occurred, I believe, 2 years ago. It's kind of a big budget change, and I think Mr. Nadeau we were kind of thinking the same thing with the salaries. And we have shifted some things around to make sense in the overall big picture of this budget. But I do want to denote on the second page under 2100-076-668 where it says rent income. You see that? Do you guys have your copy? We did move the farm activity room revenue from the actual rec budget where it used to be into this farm budget. Okay, so that is when you're moving revenue from rec over to the farm, it's basically saying we need more revenue in the farm to sustain. That's why that decision was made. And yes, the activity hall sits at the farm. It's located on farm property, but everything out of their rentals, yoga, fitness, you name it, really falls under rec. Okay. So, and then a couple years ago, we had a full-time salaried person in this line item as well, and we weren't able to sustain back then, and that salary had to come over to rec as well. So I just want the commission to know those changes. The dollar amount has been inserted in there at 1,900 for the rent. And that's the only comment. I just want to denote if there's a big change in something. And again, if we don't get that 10,000 in revenue that's in there, again, this is a working document, then those revenues will be lower than what you're actually seeing.
So we took money that was in the rec budget and we moved it to the farm budget
Correct.
because we're trying to make sure we can make a go of that farm.
That is correct. So that's 10 grand out of rec that has been moved over to the farm. And keep in mind, there are no prior resources because we have completed the project. It was supposed to be a phase 1, phase 2 on the fences, and it's exactly $178,000 for those fences, and we did it all in this budget. So it's done, thank goodness, but that's a huge project for rec. I just can't pull money out of the farm. We don't have it. I had to pull money from rec carryover, not farm, to accomplish the fences at the farm. And I think we all know that.
Yeah, and we can't sustain an equestrian activity at the farm without the fences.
Correct.
So the fences were really primary to enable us to continue to have that equestrian center at the farm, as well as the dog park and other things.
All those things, correct.
But they're all community services that people want, and we have found a way to provide. But again, it has to all somehow be paid for.
Correct.
And I know in this community, the word subsidy is not always a favorite word, but at some point, we can't afford to subsidize businesses. We have to ask for a fair rent. And I think we've done this. We've hammered it out with the tenant. I think we have come to an agreement, a level of agreement. So, and I think a big part of this operating agreement is also continuing communication between the owner, which is the township, and the operator, which is the Lutons, that we stay on good communication terms. And we've spelled out a lot of things that have in the past not been clearly spelled out, so that the relationship is more solid in a sense, that each side knows what they are responsible for and in what way they are responsible for it. So I think, and then we worked with our new township attorney to also iron some of these things out, update some of the language, because we haven't reviewed this agreement in probably 5 years. So I think a lot of good things have come together toward this. And I would be very happy to take this to the township board and, with your approval, recommend it to their approval.
Any more questions or comments? With that, we'll do a roll vote. Marissa?
No.
Stacy?
No.
Wendy?
Yes.
Ethel?
I'll say yes.
Ucha?
Yes?
Yeah. Motion carries.
Thank you. And I want to say this was a hard process, and I do appreciate and understand the different votes that were made, and I appreciate that. I think that's important, that we acknowledge difference of ideas, and again, how I am appreciative that those ideas were put forward. I just want you to know that.
And third item, vote and approve to seek RFP for new pool fence at Water's Edge. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion.
My turn? Okay. So we approved the intergovernmental grant upwards of $40-some thousand. So this RFP to seek the new pool fence is in that agreement. That would be that's grant money that will pay for this project. So that is not coming out of rec budget, it's grant money. But again, we need to seek the RFPs for that. Everything's ready to go for the paper. Our pool fence is falling down, just to let all of you know. We may get one more year, but under that grant, there's specific guidelines for the projects in there, and we all voted on that. So, and I presented that grant to all of you. So, but again, this is grant dollars not coming out of the recreation budget. So, there you go.
So you're working on a grant for that right now?
No, we have received the grant.
You received the grant.
That's correct.
So what we are approving here is giving Kim our approval to seek proposals. We're
Right.
not approving any one proposal, we're just going out for proposals.
And then once the bids come in, I bring it to the rec commission, and then it goes to the board.
Do we have any kind of ballpark figure what it's gonna cost to replace that fence?
Between 20 and 24,000.
Goes the Wendy Kearney shade structure.
In the deep end.
Hey, we got one down there.
All right, Marissa, how do you vote on that?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Ethel?
Yes.
Uta?
Yes?
And yes for me, it's unanimous. Motion carries. Any discussion items? My report, I want to remind everybody that Saturday, April 8th is our big Easter egg hunt at the farm at 10 a.m. I believe the Easter Bunny is going to make an appearance there. Don't you have the in with him, Marissa? I mean, the bunny?
Yes.
Okay.
Builders Club for that day?
Kim, are we gonna need Builders Club for that day? I'm
Yeah.
sure.
8 to 10 usually. They help with the snacks and
8 to 10.
Kids.
Oh, 8 to 10 kids.
Kids.
That's an early bunny arrival.
Right.
And also on that event, if the community is watching, it is nice to register online. We don't require it, but it does help us gauge treat bags and snacks and all of that. So if you're able to pre-register, we ask that you do that. But if not, we understand the day of, you can pay at the gate as well. So
Okay. June 2, 3, 4, Island Fest. Big event. Obviously, everything is available at RosedaleIslandFest.com. Sponsors, we can always use sponsors. Like I said, this is run on sponsors, volunteers. There's Sign Up Genius on there. We will have all the latest updates. We've got all the bands secured. We will have a lot of fun. That's June 2, 3, 4 for Island Fest, RosedaleIslandFest.com. And did you have something else you wanted to promote up there? Event-wise?
my report.
Okay. I'm good. Kim, Director's Report.
All the flyers that you see are on social media, our Facebook page. Right now going on is our March Madness. We did do this the last year. If you are looking to save some money, $50, $50.75 for family, this is your unlimited golf and pool pass. Okay, and it's only for March. So if you want to save some money, this is when you do it. I did get a couple responses on social media. Pool passes are available. Okay, I don't have the prices in front of me. I should have brought that. And I can let you know that the fees have gone up just only like $5 on those passes. The golf rates from 2022 will remain in effect for 2023. So there's no price increase in golf right now. Now, again, that can shift depending on gas prices, we're starting to get more quotes for chemicals, seed, and sod. And when things go, we all see it everywhere we go. I got to be able to cover the cost to maintain the golf course as well. So, but as of right now, that's where we are with those fees.
Kim, I have a question, before you take that down. It looks like for the couple and the family up to 5, it's the same?
I have a typo. One of my infamous typos on here.
Oh, man.
I will correct that as soon as possible. So, I don't know my
The same price for
I should have kept my mouth shut. I might have got a
and
deal.
a family of 5.
well with flyers lately, so I will get that corrected. We all, human error, we do make mistakes.
But
so,
Kim,
yes.
so these are passes for the whole season, but if you buy them in March,
You
these
get
are
the
the prices.
discount.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Work some
You're having the
overtime
savings,
and
so.
save up and buy those passes.
I believe the couple's 625. Don't quote me. It's hard when you're on camera. Someone's going to say, "Well, she said 625." So, but and I'll fix that. Other thing, our boater safety class. This is kind of a big one. This is a register online. I believe we have 50 spots. I didn't check registration, but this is a big program we fill every year. So if you have a youth that needs to learn about boater safety class, our instructor is Bob Lang, and he is part of our West River Yacht and Cruising Club down at Water's Edge Marina. He's a great guy, great instructor, knows his stuff. But we did change the location. It will be at the police department. Normally we have it at the farm. We just moved it to PD. So, and then I'm saving 2 flyers for Ethel's report when she's ready to go. I have a few more things.
Would you, the program guide?
I'm gonna speak on that. Okay. And just to let the community know, we are switching gears. The Township Board and the Rec Commission voted for the bid proposal for the Grosse Ile Grand. So we're excited to put all of our programs, events, you will now see that in the paper. So the program guide will no longer be. So if you're looking to find out what's going on with rec, you're going to see the first edition of that, I believe, in May. That's what we're shooting for, because summer is our big season. So May is when you're going to see all the swimming lessons and junior golf and all those good things that we do, Christmas in July. That will be in the Grand. So thank you for reminding me of that. But the other thing that's super important, and you'll see it on social media, we are now hiring for all the positions this summer. Lifeguards, grounds crew, camp director, camp counselor, pro shop attendant, you name it. So if you have a young person or yourself want to come work for the rec department, Stacy's looking at me like, no way. But yeah, we are hiring. So, and you know, that's a big struggle with everywhere. I talk to a lot of rec directors. Finding staff is a challenge. And again, I know I've gotten a lot of emails from residents about summer camp. Kim, are you doing? Of course I'm going to do it. The problem is if I don't have a camp director and counselors to watch the kids, I cannot do the program. It's the same thing with running swimming lessons. If we don't have the lifeguards and I train them how to teach, we cannot run those programs. So this is critical for our community. Now, I'm not looking at numbers. Forget the budget right now. This is what rec is about. Rec is about providing those programs to our community. So if you know anybody that's looking for a job, all the job descriptions are on grosseile.com, community recreation. Pay grades are on there. I've increased those to try to get a little bit more action going. But again, we can't operate without staff. It's that simple. Thank goodness for our volunteers on this island. We couldn't do a lot of things without them either. So that's how that budget comes together.
Kim, question?
Yeah.
If you were to get some volunteer help to organize a job fair for the rec department. Do you think that would be something that would be helpful?
I'm open to anything.
Okay, let's talk offline because I'd be happy to help you with that.
You know, and I was about ready to go into school and have a seminar, you know, to see all the classes and say, come work. But yeah, I'm open to anything right now. And again, I try to get as many flyers through the backpack with what we're hiring. You know, use the softball team, the soccer team, and you know how it goes. You know, recruit within.
Who's breathing?
And you're getting up there too. So, minimum age for a lifeguard is 15. You must be certified. I'm actually posting certification classes to our community on our Facebook page because they're hard to find because there's not enough instructors to certify the lifeguards anymore. There's a shortage of those individuals as well.
And the lifeguards have to pay for their own certification?
At this point, I am going to try to do what I did last year and get an instructor to come on site. I was fortunate to get a friend from Ohio to come and certify her staff. I'm going to reach out to her again. Yeah, so I'm doing everything I can.
I might have somebody for lifeguard.
Yeah.
If you're
We have a breaking news alert. We have a breaking news alert.
right.
It just came through.
Just now?
Yes.
Emma?
I'm going to let Emma announce it. What's the breaking news, Emma?
School's canceled for tomorrow.
Oh my! Did it really just come through?
Yeah.
'Cause my
Sorry to
daughter's
interrupt,
like,
madam.
Mom.
Due to
need
the
my
high
mom.
probability of inclement weather during the morning
geez.
commute.
Hooray.
All right.
It's picture day at
Sorry, guys out there.
Yeah, that's kind of an important. You know, everyone's at home waiting for that.
Recreation.
It's picture day at Meridian tomorrow. We have picture.
Belleville's still closed, so that Snow Hill's going to be busy.
Yeah, it will be.
That dirt pile. I mean,
And
Snow Hill.
like I said, we're right now. It's plan. We're starting to kick into here we go mode. So if you guys know any, we need staff and we need rangers. That's without those rangers, we can't run a golf course. So
They get a free T-shirt.
I do everything I can to be the nicest manager, flexible hours. You know, a lot of the kids know each other, which is good. And if they need to trade shifts, they all work together. So it's a really nice, fun environment. So,
Employees. We need people to work for us.
yeah, it takes people to do what we do, so.
Wow.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thank you,
Kim.
O'Farrell.
Thank you. You.
I know, my mind's kind of drifting here tonight.
Call you Kim O'Connor and Uta O'Farrell.
Thanks, you.
And our Township Board Liaison, Miss O'Connor.
Well,
Uta.
I will try uncharacteristically to keep it short, but the township board did approve the guide going to the Grand, and that was a very good step for us. I think more people are going to have access to this information, and we're able to support a local business in the process. Not that we haven't done that before, but we're always looking for ways to improve our outreach. I want to thank everybody on this commission. I don't often get the chance to do so for the time and the effort and the abuse that you take in this role.
I thought that was going to go somewhere else.
I've been involved in public life for a very long time, as has Ethel, and all of you have at some level or other. And so I just personally wanted to reach out and say how important it is that you volunteer your time to do this work. We can't do any of this without people. Again, we're a small rural township, 12,000 people plus, but it takes people to run the village, so to speak. So I just again wanted to reach out as we hit our annual meeting, and that this work that you do, that we do together, is appreciated and is important. And you may not always feel like you are appreciated, but we all put our pants on one leg at a time, and we keep moving forward. So thank you for all your help with this.
When is that annual meeting?
We no longer have an annual meeting.
Oh, no.
We'll be approving the budget on Monday's meeting, March 13. If I understand correctly, we'll be doing the appointments at the second meeting in March. And At that point, we'll be reappointing board commissioners, commission members, and commission chairs. So, but we don't, again, budget cuts and time constraints. And we are not legally obligated to have a specific set annual meeting.
So no cookies and sodas
No
downstairs?
cookies and sodas.
Oh, man.
You are welcome to bring them. More often
No,
than not,
budget cuts, can't afford
more
cookies.
often than not, people bring
cough
their
drops.
fruit and veg to throw at
Have
us,
cough
but
drops.
they haven't done that either, and so now I can't make soup. You know, it's
Out at the price of eggs and tomatoes.
the price of eggs is. No one's going to throw an egg at us at this point. You know, that's
Right.
good. That's
Maybe
a good thing.
Maybe a rock, but
Maybe. Well, don't give them ideas.
I'm just saying.
Well, anyway, that's it from me. Thank
Thank you, Uta. Commissioners, Marissa,
Got nothing tonight.
Stacy,
Nothing.
Wendy,
I'll let Emma go.
Emma.
Because I have more. Okay, I'll go first.
I'll just back you up.
Okay. So, all four schools just finished up parent-teacher conferences today. The high school was last today. I just wanted to thank you to our Groseal High School student athletes who read to our students at Meridian Elementary this afternoon. It is reading month, so there's a lot of stuff going on, especially at pretty much at Park Lane and Meridian. But we had athletes that went over and read to the kids. Groseal High School is excited for their charity week, March 13th through 17th. The student council has been working hard in collecting donations from businesses and creating events for the high school students to participate in raising money. They're raising money for Feeding Detroit and Downriver and Mimi's Mission. So they've got a bunch of activities set up throughout the week. Fun stuff like Pie a Teacher, Penny Wars. That's at the high school, honey. Sorry. Just different things like that that they do. Saran wrapping a teacher's car, that type of stuff.
So fun.
But they usually raise a lot of money too. So, also they are offering a parents' night out. $30 for the first child, $10 for an additional child. March 17th, so St. Patrick's Day, from 6 to 8, and they're focusing on grades young 5s through 5th grade.
How's that a parents' night out?
What do you mean?
Because you just said to bring all the kids, right?
Well, they're dropping the kids off to be babysat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
6 to 8.
Yes.
It's not very long.
Well, listen, it's something.
Crack the bottle open and off you go.
Right.
Yeah. What did you say?
2 hours and run.
That's
All
right, exactly. Athletic Boosters, high school Athletic Boosters is having their awards night Monday, March 13th at 6:30 at the high school in the auditorium. And then a big congratulations to our varsity competitive cheer team on their 4th place finish at the state championship. They did a wonderful job. They had a wonderful send-off to the police department, and everybody put the sirens on and drove them off. So, and then another thing we're really, really, really proud about is announcing the fact that we have 3 high school students that have met the stringent requirements for becoming a National Merit Scholarship finalist. These finalists were selected from over 16,000 semifinalists in the 68th Annual National Merit Scholarship Program, and we had 3, which is unheard of. So Sarah Finn, Luke Hargrove, and Avi Patel. So congratulations to everybody. And then a big shout out to the Groseal Wind Ensemble. Last week on Thursday, they competed in the MSBOA District Festival and received all ones, which qualifies them for states in April. So they'll be going to states. And I think that's it.
I have a question. If Wendy decides to join the school board, is she still allowed to stay on the rec commission?
Wendy is not joining the school board.
Let's
so
just say.
we're all good. No, we're all good.
Is that allowed or no?
We're good. We're good.
No?
Can I just mention one other thing? Kim, will you put that up there really quickly? So, and I posted this on Facebook, but Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up in May, so I'm starting early. But if anybody is interested in donating $10 for a meal that will give. I partnered with this wonderful company, Top Dog Catering, and we actually had them at Paint the Town, and then they've done some other stuff around town.
They're great.
But they're awesome, and they do 28 different gourmet hot dogs or sausages. And so they're going to be here that week and go to every school. And so lunch would be about $10 to cover a yummy hot dog or sausage, and then fries. So if anybody's interested, it is posted on Facebook, Groseal GITS, Groseal Now, and then on mine, and all the information's on there. So if anybody's interested, we would appreciate
And
it.
we appreciate the teachers all year long.
Absolutely.
This is just a time to show
Absolutely, we love
them a
them.
hot dog.
That's right, a gourmet hot dog,
wiener.
a 28.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd
So
had 'em.
not one or two, but 28 different versions, and they really are. And I'm not even a hot dog
Thank you,
person.
Madam Secretary.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
student liaison, Emma. Bass.
Okay, so there's not a lot.
Bates.
Either one works.
All right.
But Washington, 8th grade leaves for Washington next week. So we're excited for them to go. And yeah.
The school will be quiet.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be a fun trip
Are you going on that trip?
Next year.
Oh, next year.
next year.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Again, it's kindness month, so show your teachers some extra kindness. And then spring break is in less than 2 weeks. Really excited about that. And then school's canceled tomorrow, again. And that's it. And then happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you, Emma. Ethel Yops.
Okay.
I know Kim's got some flyers for you to put up there, too.
Yep.
Did you get a postcard from me from Florida?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Shall I tell everyone?
No. It's inappropriate for. All right. There you go.
Okay. It's time again for the Senior St. Patrick's Day Luncheon. It's Wednesday, March the 15th, which is next week at 12:30 p.m. at Centennial Farm. $10 includes a meal, or corned beef and cabbage, red skin potatoes, carrots, rolls, dessert, beverages, special entertainment with berry, and prizes. And we have free transportation. Advanced reservations, call 734-675-2364. If you're looking for a worthwhile outing, here it is. Come and join your friends, and meet new people, and just enjoy yourself. The senior fitness programs continue. Chair yoga, 9:30 to 10:15 a.m., Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at Centennial Farm Activity Room. The strength training senior fitness at 9:30 to 10:15 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Centennial Farm. Punch cards for seniors are $65 for 10 visits. And they're available at Water's Edge Pro Shop only. Use them at your convenience. Also included in the cards are cardio drumming for seniors on Saturday, 9:30 to 10:15 a.m. at the farm. Aerobic walking is walking to music Monday through Friday, 6:45 to 7:45 a.m. at Centennial Farm Activity Room. It's $1 daily at $25 for 8 weeks. And if you're in need of Meals on Wheels, call the Wayne County Office of Nutrition to apply, 1-800-851-1454. And again, van transportation is provided by the Recreation Department for essential needs and essential errands. It's available for those who do not own a vehicle or cannot drive due to medical reasons, Monday through Friday, 1 to 4:30 p.m., $5 round trip on the island, $6 round trip off island. Reservations at least 24 hours in advance, and 2 to 4 days are preferred. Call 734-216-4905 or 734-675-2364. New programs for spring and summer are in the planning stages. The much acclaimed Cinco de Mayo luncheon will be held again at a date to be announced. And a special health day will be held April the 20th, sponsored by Beaumont Hospital, and more information is coming. Updates on programs are available on Grosse Ile TV, Channel 12, Comcast, WOW, Channel 10, AT&T, Channel 99. And you can also call 734-675-2364 and watch for your copy of the Grosse Ile Grand for all events. And so I'm going to ask again, please make your reservations for the St. Patrick's Day luncheon, which is next Wednesday, March the 15th, 12:30 at the farm. 734-675-2364, and free transportation for this event. Daylight savings time begins at midnight. That's 12 a.m. this Sunday, March the 12th. Turn your clocks ahead 1 hour.
Boo!
And so I thank you.
Exactly. Can I jump in on Ethel? Are you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I did get the flyer. Ethel and I spoke a little bit about the new senior safety series. I'm working with Corewell Health, which was Beaumont, and we're going to try to do some more seminars for our seniors, free of charge, free transportation. There's a 6 series, but we're going to break it up from doing 3 now and then 3 in the fall, because summer people are outside and being active, and we want our seniors to stay outside. We don't want them inside, cooped up in a room. So think first to prevent falls, hands-only CPR AED training, and then stop the bleed is the third one. You can see the dates there. This got on social media today. These are all free. And yes, it's called Senior Safety Series, but we welcome anybody that would like to attend any of these seminars free of charge. So I just wanted to stay on the senior path there.
I should.
Well, if I can just dovetail on that, the whole idea of think first was step safety. As you know, I work I'm an office manager in a medical practice, and we're seeing a lot of falls recently, and especially in our older bodies, bones break more easily and more difficultly, and we heal slower. So if you have an opportunity for you, or maybe even you go on behalf of your older parents to understand fall risks and so forth, it can be a lifesaver.
We good? Are we good? All right. With that, I would like
Any final comments? Why does everyone forget me?
I got one.
Remember her, our chair?
No, I had director's report.
I know, but everyone always has a
Comments.
final.
All right, Marissa, you got anything to say?
No.
Stacy? Wendy?
Happy
I do right at the end.
All right, it's me then.
Emma?
Happy St. Patrick's Day, and again, there's no school tomorrow.
Ethel?
Well, a special thanks to Kim and Uta and Chad for all their hard work. That's really tough jobs they have. And I want to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day, March the 17th. And hopefully it's a good Friday for a change, because we've really had some bad ones lately. And spring is on the way.
Positive thinking. Thank you. Uta?
Nothing?
I really
Take
have
it, Kim.
nothing. It's just on your way.
Okay.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. Take time to volunteer for your community. No. And with that, I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:39. Our next meeting is April 6th. Motion?
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.